Chosen one, that sexual desire you feel is not random. It is not just human nature. It is not just temptation. It is a spiritual warfare test sent directly to challenge your calling. You did not stumble upon this message by accident. God is exposing the hidden battle that few ever talk about. Every urge, every moment of weakness is not just about the body. It's about the soul. The enemy knows if he can distract your spirit through desire, he can silence your destiny. That's why you've been attacked in the most vulnerable way, through your flesh. This isn't just lust. This is war. And you, chosen one, are standing at the center of the battlefield. The hidden truth about your desires. Most people think desire is simple, a feeling, a craving. But for God's chosen ones, it is much deeper. Your energy is divine. Your spirit carries light. The enemy recognizes that, and he will use the most subtle, powerful tool to derail you: sexual temptation. That desire is meant to be controlled, not consumed. When you lose control, you lose spiritual power. When you guard your temple, you strengthen your anointing. That is why your battle feels heavier than others, because you are carrying something sacred. Do not be fooled. Your urges are not random. They are signals. They are spiritual tests. Why the enemy targets you? Chosen one, ask yourself, why you? Why are you constantly attacked in the same area over and over again? Because the enemy knows your destiny is great. He knows if he can keep you trapped in cycles of lust, guilt, and shame, you will never rise into your full calling. You are a warrior, chosen before birth. That is why your temptations are stronger, your nights are longer, your battles more intense. The enemy does not waste his time on those without purpose. He targets those who carry light. He targets you. Every attack on your flesh is really an attack on your soul. The power inside of you. What you don't see is that your very energy is magnetic. Your presence carries something others can feel but cannot explain. That's why you attract so much attention. That's why so many are drawn to you in ways that feel strange, even overwhelming. The pull you feel is proof of your divine power. But power without discipline leads to destruction. The moment you recognize that your urges are not random, you unlock the ability to control them. Self-mastery is the mark of the chosen. The war inside your spirit. The real war is not outside of you. It is inside. A battle between flesh and spirit, light and darkness, destiny and distraction. Every time you resist, you grow stronger. Every time you give in, you delay your breakthrough. This is why your fight feels endless, because the enemy knows how close you are to walking into your purpose. That is why temptation comes hardest right before your elevation. Hold the line, do not surrender. The world will never understand you. People around you will never understand your struggle. They will mock you, tempt you, call you crazy. They will say, "It's just natural, just give in." But you are not like them. You are not called to live in the ordinary. Your awakening sets you apart. Your walk with God makes you different. And the more you resist, the more powerful your spirit becomes. That's why they cannot silence you. That's why they cannot break you. You were chosen to overcome what destroys others. A message straight to your spirit. Chosen one, this is your sign. You have been asking why your desires feel like chains. You have been wondering why this battle follows you. It is because your destiny is tied to your discipline. The enemy wants your energy wasted. God wants your energy guarded. This is not about denying who you are. This is about rising above what tries to control you. Your calling is greater than your cravings. Your mission is more important than your moment of weakness. Every test is proof of your chosen path. Your divine assignment. Understand this: your body is a vessel, a temple, a carrier of light. That is why you must protect it. That is why you must master it. The stronger your discipline, the brighter your light. You are meant to break generational curses. You are meant to rise above cycles that others could never escape. That is why you face this battle more than anyone else. because you are not just fighting for yourself, you are fighting for your bloodline. Chosen one, your victory is not just yours. It is for those who will come after you. If this message spoke to your spirit, if you feel the weight of this truth pressing into your soul, then you already know you are not here by accident. God led you to this very moment. Stand tall, claim your power, master your desires before they master you. The war is real, but so is your victory. Chosen one, like this video, leave your testimony in the comments and subscribe to the Chosen Era, because your journey has only just begun. The enemy knows your weak point. Chosen one, the enemy studies you more than you realize. He knows what tempts you. He knows where your mind drifts when you are alone. He knows which faces, which memories, which desires make your guard fall. That's why the same temptation returns again and again. It's a cycle designed to break you. But you must understand this. When the enemy knows your weakness, God equips you with the strength to overcome it. The test is not to destroy you, it is to sharpen you. Every time you resist, your spirit becomes stronger than your flesh. Every time you stand firm, the chains lose their grip. The cost of giving in. When you fall into temptation, it may feel small in the moment, but the consequences echo deeper than you know. It steals your focus. It drains your energy. It clouds your vision. And slowly, it disconnects you from your spiritual power. The truth is, sin always costs more than it offers. It promises pleasure but delivers emptiness. It promises satisfaction but leaves shame. And you, chosen one, cannot afford to keep losing battles that are meant to prepare you for war. The silent battle nobody sees. People may see your smile, they may see your success, but they don't see the war happening inside your soul. They don't see the sleepless nights, the heavy thoughts, the invisible pull between destiny and desire. This is the burden of the awakened. You are carrying a spiritual weight most could never bear. And that is why your struggle is sacred, because only those with divine assignments face divine-level tests. The spiritual energy of desire. Desire is not evil. Desire is energy, and energy can either be used to create or destroy. When that energy is wasted on lust, it vanishes into nothing. But when it is mastered, it can fuel your visions, your goals, your divine purpose. That same energy that tries to pull you down can be transformed into spiritual fire that lifts you higher. The greatest warriors in history learned the secret of mastering their flesh. And you, chosen one, are being called to do the same. Signs that you are in the warfare. If your dreams are filled with temptation, if people are suddenly drawn to you in strange, overwhelming ways, if your urges feel stronger the closer you get to God, these are signs that you are in the warfare. The enemy does not attack where there is no treasure. He does not tempt where there is no power. If you are under heavy assault, it is because you are chosen for heavy purpose. The higher your calling, the stronger the test. Chosen one, your life is not ordinary. You have always felt different. That is because your assignment is not like others. And because of that, your temptations are greater, your resistance must be stronger, and your faith must be unshakable. The higher you climb, the more the enemy will try to pull you back down. But remember this: temptation is proof that you are going higher. The enemy would not try to stop you if you were going nowhere. The chains of shame. Many chosen ones are stuck not just in cycles of desire, but in cycles of shame. The guilt that follows makes you feel unworthy, broken, distant from God. That shame becomes heavier than the temptation itself. But hear this truth: shame is the enemy's greatest weapon. God does not condemn you, He calls you to rise again. Every time you fall, He gives you strength to stand. Every time you stumble, His grace reminds you that your destiny is still alive. The war that begins in the mind. Chosen one, the battle does not begin in the flesh, it begins in the mind. The thought comes first, the image appears, the memory replays, and then the body follows. That is why the enemy attacks your imagination. He plants seeds in your thoughts, hoping you water them with attention. The moment you learn to guard your mind, you weaken his control. The moment you refuse to entertain the thought, you cut off the power of the desire. Your victory does not begin in your hands, it begins in your head. The spiritual gates of your body. Your eyes, your ears, your tongue, these are gates to your soul. What you allow in shapes what grows inside. This is why the enemy tries to corrupt your vision, flooding you with images and sounds designed to awaken lust. Guard your gates. Be intentional about what you consume. For a chosen one, everything you allow in has power. Darkness enters subtly, but it always leaves destruction. The pattern of temptation. Notice this, chosen one. Temptation often comes at the same times. Late at night when you are tired. After a breakthrough when you are most victorious. During seasons of loneliness when your spirit is vulnerable. This is not coincidence. It is strategy. The enemy times his attack when your defenses are low. Recognizing the pattern is your first step to breaking free. Awareness is your weapon, the heavy weight of being different. Since childhood, you have felt the difference. You couldn't blend in even if you tried. Your spirit rejected what others celebrated, and because of that, you became a target. People misunderstood you, mocked you, or pushed you away. But the isolation was divine protection. God set you apart because he needed you uncontaminated. The very rejection you faced was God's way of keeping your spirit pure for your calling. The spiritual transfer of energy. Understand this truth. Every connection is an exchange. When you give yourself to someone out of lust, you are not just sharing your body. You are exchanging energy, spirit, and soul fragments. That is why you feel empty, drained, or broken after the wrong encounters. It was never just physical. It was spiritual. And this is why the enemy pushes lust so heavily, because through one act, he can steal power, joy, and clarity from the chosen. The illusion of control. The enemy whispers, just once won't hurt. You can stop anytime. You are still in control. But every time you listen, the grip gets tighter. Slowly, desire becomes addiction, and addiction becomes bondage. The lie is control. The truth is slavery. But when you awaken to see the trap, the chains begin to break, because awareness is the first key to freedom. The silence after falling. Notice the pattern. Before the act, the temptation is loud, screaming for attention. But after you give in, silence, emptiness, guilt. And that guilt pushes you further from prayer, further from God, further from your divine assignment. This is by design. The enemy uses silence and shame to isolate you, so you no longer seek God's presence. But this is where you must rise. Silence is not your prison. It is your signal to call on God even louder. The moments right before your breakthrough. Chosen one, have you noticed how temptation intensifies right before something good happens in your life? That is no accident. The enemy senses your breakthrough before you do. He knows when blessings are close, when doors are about to open, when your elevation is near. That's why the attacks increase. That's why the urges feel unbearable. Because if he can distract you in the final hour, he can delay your blessing. The heaviness you feel right now is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign you're standing at the edge of destiny. The battle between light and shadow. Inside of you lives a sacred light. But where there is light, shadow tries to exist. Every chosen one carries both, the spirit of purity and the pull of desire. The question is not whether the shadow appears. The question is whether you allow it to lead. When you choose light, your spirit grows brighter. When you feed shadow, your soul feels heavier. This constant tension is not punishment. It is proof of your divine responsibility. The strategy of distraction. Understand this. Temptation is more than just desire. It is distraction. The enemy knows if he can keep your mind tied to cravings, you will never focus on building, creating, or praying. He does not need to destroy you directly. He just needs to keep you busy with battles that drain your energy. And so many chosen ones are trapped, not because they are weak, but because they are distracted. The real test is not just resisting temptation, but refocusing your energy toward your higher calling. The weight of spiritual responsibility. You may ask, why me? Why do I have to carry this weight while others live freely? The answer is simple, because you are not ordinary, you are marked. Your very existence is a weapon of light against darkness. The heavier your battles, the greater your anointing. The stronger your temptations, the higher your calling. You were chosen because God knew you could carry what others could not. The deception of the world. Look around you. Society celebrates lust. It is in the music, the movies, the ads, the culture. The world tells you to indulge, to give in, to satisfy yourself without thought. But you, chosen one, cannot live by the world's deception. What they celebrate is designed to enslave. What they normalize is meant to destroy. You are being called to rise above what the world glorifies, to walk in purity when everyone else walks in chains. The strength hiding in your spirit. There is a warrior inside of you that you haven't even met yet. A version of yourself that rises above every temptation, that lives with clarity and power, that walks with unshakable discipline. Every test is shaping you into that warrior. Every resistance is building that strength. You are not losing when you struggle, you are training for mastery. The fight you are in is forging the spirit you were destined to become. The power of redirection. When the urge comes, you don't just fight it, you redirect it. Take that energy and pour it into prayer, into writing, into building your dream, into fasting, into something that feeds your spirit instead of your flesh. The energy of desire is fuel. If wasted, it burns out quickly. But if redirected, it becomes fire that lights your purpose, the spiritual test of isolation. Chosen one, notice how temptation often comes strongest when you are alone. It creeps in during silence, in the late hours, in moments when no one is watching. That isolation is designed to convince you that nobody will know, that it doesn't matter. But in truth, the battle is not about who sees you. It's about who you become in secret. Your private victories shape your public destiny. What you conquer in the dark becomes your strength in the light. The spiritual weight of your bloodline. You are not only fighting for yourself, you are fighting for generations. The enemy has used lust to destroy families, to break marriages, to keep entire bloodlines enslaved. But you, chosen one, were called to break that curse. That is why your battle feels heavier. It is generational. But the moment you choose discipline, you shift the future of those who come after you. Your victory becomes their freedom. The dangers of spiritual exchange. Every encounter leaves a mark. When you connect through lust, you take on burdens that were never yours. Spirits of anxiety, depression, confusion, these can all transfer through unguarded encounters. That's why you sometimes feel heavy after being with someone. It was never just attraction. It was a transaction. And the enemy knows if he can connect you to the wrong spirit, he can drain your light without you even realizing it. The false promise of desire. The flesh whispers, this will satisfy you, this will complete you. But after the act, emptiness always follows. That cycle is designed to keep you hungry, restless, and unsatisfied. It tricks you into feeding what can never be filled. True fulfillment doesn't come from the flesh. It comes from the spirit. And every time you choose your spirit over your body, you are breaking the illusion. The fire inside of you. That very urge you feel, that burning fire, is not meant to consume you, it's meant to fuel you. Greatness requires passion, and that passion can either be wasted or transformed. When you master your fire, it becomes creative energy, divine focus, and unstoppable willpower. The fire of desire is not your enemy, it is your test. Will you let it destroy you, or will you let it refine you? The importance of guarding your spirit. Chosen one, understand this clearly. Every image you watch, every thought you feed, every word you entertain either strengthens or weakens your spirit. That is why you must be intentional about what you allow into your mind. The enemy is subtle. He doesn't attack with obvious weapons. He uses entertainment, casual words, simple glances. But little by little, those seeds grow into chains. Guard your spirit because it is your most valuable treasure. The destiny hidden in your self-control. Every time you resist temptation, you're not just saying no. You are saying yes to your destiny. You are proving that your spirit is stronger than your flesh, that your calling is greater than your craving. Self-control is not just discipline. It is destiny in motion. Your future, your blessings, your breakthroughs, they are waiting on the other side of your resistance, the spiritual mark on your life. Chosen one, have you noticed how people are drawn to you without reason? Some admire you, others envy you. Some desire you with an intensity that feels unnatural. This is not about beauty or charm. It is about the spiritual mark on your life. The light you carry attracts both good and evil. Some are drawn because they sense healing in you. Others are drawn because their spirits crave to drain you. This is why you cannot give your energy to just anyone. What is sacred must be guarded. The war over your temple. Your body is not ordinary. It is a vessel, a temple, and every temple is either a dwelling place for light or for darkness. The enemy's mission is to defile your temple so it no longer radiates divine energy. That is why lust is so aggressive against you. It is not about pleasure, it is about desecration. The more you protect your temple, the more God's presence rests upon you. The more you allow defilement, the weaker your light becomes. The lure of temporary pleasure. The trap of lust is that it offers quick reward, a fleeting moment of satisfaction, but the cost is always greater than the gain. What lasts seconds in the flesh can create years of delay in the spirit. This is why many chosen ones feel stuck, unable to progress. They think it's just coincidence, but in truth, their energy is being wasted on temporary pleasure instead of eternal purpose. The test of discipline. Chosen one, every great warrior is tested in discipline before they are trusted with power. God cannot hand you influence, wealth, or authority if you cannot master yourself. If you cannot rule your own body, how can you rule nations? This is why your test is constant. It is not punishment. It is preparation. Discipline is the gate to destiny. Until you pass it, the door cannot open. The invisible chains. What makes lust so dangerous is that its chains are invisible. You think you are free, yet your habits prove otherwise. You believe you are in control, yet the urges dictate your actions. The invisible chains are the hardest to break because most refuse to admit they exist. But the moment you acknowledge the bondage, you gain the power to shatter it. Truth always precedes freedom. The power of withdrawal. Every time you withdraw from temptation, you reclaim your energy. You gain clarity. Your vision sharpens. Your spirit grows lighter. That is why fasting, prayer, and discipline unlock such power for chosen ones. They disconnect you from the pull of the flesh and reconnect you to the strength of the spirit. With every act of withdrawal, you are not losing. You are investing in your destiny. The enemy's fear of your purity. Purity terrifies the enemy, not because it is perfection, but because it is power. A pure vessel carries divine authority. A pure heart sees clearly. A pure spirit walks boldly. This is why lust is his primary weapon, because if he can corrupt your purity, he can weaken your authority. But every time you resist, your authority multiplies. Every act of purity is an act of warfare, the spiritual exhaustion after temptation. Chosen one, have you noticed how drained you feel after giving in? It is not just physical tiredness. It is spiritual exhaustion. Your light dims. Your focus scatters. Your will feels weaker. This is because your spiritual energy was stolen. That weakness is exactly what the enemy wants. A weakened chosen one cannot pray with fire. A weakened chosen one cannot fight with clarity. But when you resist, you keep your strength intact, and your spirit burns brighter. The illusion of normalcy. The world says everyone does it, it's natural, it's harmless. But you are not everyone. What is harmless for them is deadly for you. Because you are chosen, even small compromises carry heavy consequences. Your calling magnifies your accountability. The very thing others laugh about can be the very thing that delays your breakthrough. Do not compare your path to theirs. Your journey is sacred. The unseen watchers. Chosen one, every time you are tempted, you are not alone. Heaven is watching. Angels are recording. Demons are circling, waiting for an opening. The spiritual realm pays close attention to what you do in private. That is why your test matters so much. Each decision strengthens either the forces of light or the forces of darkness in your life. What feels like a small choice is a declaration in the unseen world. The false escape of desire. Many chosen ones turn to lust as an escape from stress, pain, or loneliness. For a moment it feels like relief, but it is a trap, because afterward the pain remains, and now guilt is added on top of it. The escape is an illusion. The more you feed it, the more it demands. What was once comfort becomes captivity. What was once relief becomes regret. The difference between temptation and sin. Hear this clearly, temptation is not sin. Even Jesus was tempted. The sin is not in the thought, it is in the surrender. The urge itself is proof of your humanity. The choice is where your spirit is tested. Do not condemn yourself for feeling desire. Condemn yourself only if you allow desire to master you. The feeling is not your downfall. The decision is. The sacredness of your seed. Your seed is more than biology. It is destiny. It carries creative power, spiritual authority, divine essence. That is why the enemy works tirelessly to make you waste it carelessly, because once wasted, it weakens your inner fire. Your seed is a weapon. Guard it, protect it. Release it only under divine alignment, for every careless release is a release of spiritual authority. The call to higher standards. Chosen one, you cannot live at the level of the world. You are called to higher standards. What others excuse, you must resist. What others normalize, you must reject. This does not mean you are perfect. It means you are set apart. And being set apart is not comfortable. It is not easy, but it is necessary. Because your destiny demands more than the ordinary. The battle intensify when you pray. Chosen one, have you noticed that when you fast, when you pray, when you draw closer to God, temptation suddenly becomes stronger? That is not coincidence. It is resistance. The closer you move toward your purpose, the louder the enemy becomes. This is proof you are on the right path. If you were not dangerous to the kingdom of darkness, the enemy would not bother with you. The warfare intensifies because your breakthrough is near, the danger of spiritual numbness. When someone falls again and again without repentance, the danger is numbness. At first, guilt stings, but with repetition, the spirit becomes numb and conviction fades. That numbness is the true trap. It convinces you that nothing is wrong. But you, chosen one, still feel the weight, still feel the battle. That sensitivity is your blessing. It means your spirit is alive, awake, uncorrupted by the numbness of the world. The trap of comparison. You may look around and wonder why others give in easily and still succeed. You may think, why is my punishment harsher? Why do I feel more guilt than they do? The answer is simple. They are not chosen. Their path is not yours. Your calling is higher. Your discipline must be sharper. Your responsibility is heavier. Do not measure your journey by theirs. They are living for now. You are living for eternity. The heavenly reward of resistance. Every time you resist, heaven rejoices. You may not see the reward immediately, but in the unseen realm, blessings are being stored for you. Every small victory is a seed planted in eternity. You think you are just saying no to temptation, but in truth, you are saying yes to doors, opportunities, and favor you cannot yet imagine. Resistance today becomes elevation tomorrow. The spiritual clarity of purity. When you protect your purity, your spirit sharpens. You hear God's voice more clearly. You see signs more vividly. Your intuition becomes stronger. Lust clouds the soul, but purity clears the path. That's why, after falling, you often feel confused or disconnected. But when you rise in purity, the world seems brighter, your purpose feels clearer, and your spirit feels unstoppable. The dangerous cycle of secrecy. Temptation thrives in silence. The enemy wants you to keep your struggle hidden. He wants you to believe you are alone, that nobody else fights this battle. But secrecy strengthens bondage. The moment you bring it into the light, whether through prayer, confession, or accountability, the chains begin to lose their grip. Darkness cannot survive where truth is spoken. The strength of delayed gratification. Every time you wait, every time you choose discipline over desire, your spirit grows stronger. The world says, now. The spirit says, not yet. The flesh craves instant pleasure, but destiny requires patience. The discipline of waiting trains you for the blessings that will last. Because if you can master waiting in private, you will be trusted with abundance in public. The invisible war around you. Chosen one, what you feel in your body is only half the story. In the unseen realm, spirits war over your destiny. Angels push you toward discipline. Demons lure you toward desire. Every thought, every choice, tilts the scale of this invisible battle. This is why your urges feel so overwhelming. They are not just natural. They are supernatural forces colliding over your soul. The spiritual consequence of every fall. When you give in, the enemy gains legal ground. He cannot touch you without permission, but your surrender becomes his access. He whispers lies of shame, plants confusion, and blocks clarity. Yet when you resist, heaven grants you new authority. Every victory adds to your spiritual rank. Every no becomes a sword in your hand. This is not just self-control, it is warfare strategy. The burden of CARYNG light. You carry a light this world cannot understand. That's why people are drawn to you without knowing why. Some feel peace around you. Others feel intimidated. Some desire you in ways that seem unexplainable. This is not random. Your light attracts spirits, both good and evil, and that attraction often shows itself through lustful advances. You are targeted not because you are weak, but because you are radiant. The secret of energy preservation. Chosen one, your energy is your power. When you waste it through careless acts, you weaken your spiritual shield. But when you preserve it, you glow with an aura that others cannot ignore. That preserved energy sharpens your mind, strengthens your body, and heightens your spirit. This is why great leaders, prophets, and warriors guarded their purity. It was the source of their strength. The urgency of your test. Your temptations are not accidents. They are scheduled attacks. The timing is precise, right before prayer, right before opportunity, right before breakthrough. That urgency should tell you how valuable you are. The greater the test, the greater the treasure it protects. The moment you recognize this pattern, you'll see that every desire is not a distraction but a signal. Breakthrough is near. The spiritual magnetism of the chosen. People sense something in you they cannot name. Some are inspired, some are envious, and some are consumed by desire for you. They don't see you, they see the light in you. This magnetism is a gift and a curse. If unchecked, it pulls wrong people close. If guarded, it becomes a weapon of influence. This is why you must discern who deserves your presence. The heavenly record of your choices. Every choice you make is written, not in books of men, but in books of heaven. Each moment of resistance adds to your testimony. Each moment of weakness adds to your lesson. Nothing is wasted, not even your struggle. God does not look only at your falls, He looks at your fight. And your fight is proof of your divine election. Chosen one, hear me now. This battle you are facing is not just about desire, it is about your destiny. Every time you resist, you prove that your spirit is stronger than your flesh. Every time you rise, you step deeper into the power God placed inside you. You are not weak, you are not broken, you are chosen. And chosen ones don't bow to temptation, they turn it into testimony. If this message ignited something in your soul, let it be known. Like this video, comment your truth below and subscribe to the Chosen Era. Because your journey has just begun, and this is the place where warriors of light gather. Stand firm, walk boldly, claim your crown,